Libby, you agree to be videotaped?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And what were you? What is it that you do?
So I no longer do it. I ended up leaving the job, but I used to work for a gun store in Springfield, Ohio.
And how recently was that?
This was last year. It's been within the last year.
Okay. And you left them about 2023 or sometime in 24?
It's been about 10 months since I left, so yes, 2023.
Okay. And what were you telling us about gun sales to folks that were undocumented?
So when I worked there, we would have about 10 to 15 Haitian men come in every day. Normally it was just one in the group that would try and purchase a firearm. Most of them did not have U.S. IDs. They had Mexican IDs and other countries, I'm not really sure, but the most popular was Mexican. And they would come in trying to purchase firearms, and I was told that I had to process the sales just like everybody else, like I would any other customer. And I would, and they were going through just fine, even though they weren't U.S. citizens, so I would have to put them on the do not sell list so they were not getting firearms.
Okay, and so that's not supposed to happen.
No,
right?
No, because I was having U.S. citizens getting put on the do not sell list because they lived in a house that somebody who had lived there before had been on the do not sell list, so they were not allowed to purchase firearms.
Okay, but these were all going through?
Yes.
And you put them on a do not sell list, and then what happened?
I was told I was not allowed to do that because it was something with the Second Amendment.
Okay, and how many firearms do you think you sold during the time you were there in that situation?
Probably 40.
Okay, and usually groups of people, but one of them would try to get a gun?
Yes.
Okay, and anything else you want to share, or things that you noticed when you were there that...
Just that there would be large groups. I had one incident. This gentleman came in and he did have a state ID. That was the only one that I had an Ohio issued state ID. It did not have his current address on it, and this was my first issue that I've ever had with them. It was the first customer that I had that was Haitian. And I asked him, you know, is this your current address on the license? Because that's something we have to ask everybody. And he said, no, that's not my current address. I said, okay, then I cannot sell you this firearm right now. You're going to have to go to the DMV, get a change of address form, and then we can proceed. And then he looked at me and said, I'm just kidding, that's my address. And I told him, well, you already told me you don't live there, so I can't proceed with this transaction. And I got cussed out. He tried to physically take the gun out of my hands. And then my boss told me just to process it. It wasn't a big deal, even though if it was anybody else, I couldn't have done that. So,
do you think that the gun stores are getting pressure, or how is it that they're approving all this stuff?
I genuinely, I have no idea. I do know that the store that I worked for, we were told we had to process it. I would call all the other gun stores in the area and tell them what was going on, not to accept it. And so I ended up having to call about 3 to 4 gun stores every time we'd have that issue.
Almost every day?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to say?
I probably shouldn't.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate your honesty and willingness. And we'll get this out and let the word